Your potential is a divine deposit placed within you by God, a sacred gift that was woven into your being before you ever took your first breath. It is not something you acquire from the world or develop solely through education or experience. Rather, it is something you uncover, something you grow into, something that awakens as you begin to understand the depth of God's intention for your life. Every person carries within them a reservoir of hidden abilities, unexplored passions, and silent strengths placed there by the Creator Himself. These are not random traits or accidental pieces of your personality. They are purposeful, precise, and intentional. God designed you with care, thought, and vision, and within that design, He embedded the exact potential you would need to fulfill your earthly assignment. Yet many people never come close to discovering this divine deposit because they are blinded by fear, limited by doubt, or trapped by the expectations of others. They spend their lives trying to fit into molds society creates instead of stepping into the identity God crafted. They measure their worth by the standards of the world, forgetting that their true value comes from the one who shaped them in eternity. Your potential cannot be measured by your circumstances, your background, or your current limitations. It is measured by the greatness of the God who placed it within you. And because He is limitless, what He has placed inside you is also filled with limitless possibilities. There is something incredibly powerful about realizing that you were not created by accident. You were not designed randomly or assembled without purpose. Before your parents ever thought of you, before the foundations of the world were laid, God imagined you. He envisioned your strengths, your gifts, your passions, and your purpose. He knew what you would need to impact the world in the way only you could. That is why comparing yourself to others is an insult to your own divine design. You are not a copy. You are not a version of someone else. You are an original masterpiece with a distinct assignment. No one else on earth can carry out what God has entrusted to you in the way He intended. Inside you is a spiritual seed, but seeds do not grow until they are cultivated. Many people admire the potential of others while neglecting their own. They celebrate the gifts of others but never discover the treasure within themselves. God has given you everything necessary to begin, but He will not force your potential to grow. Growth is a choice. Development is a decision. And unlocking your potential requires a deep shift in how you see yourself, not as the world sees you, not as your past defines you, but as God designed you. You must embrace the truth that greatness is not something you chase, it is something you already possess. You do not reach for potential, you release it. It is already within you, waiting for permission to emerge. But unlocking your God-given potential begins with self-awareness, spiritual awareness. It begins when you stop believing the lies that say you are not enough, not capable, or not worthy. The enemy of your soul fears your potential because he knows what will happen when you discover it. God placed greatness within you because He planned to use you as a vessel of impact, influence, and transformation. The enemy tries to bury your potential under layers of insecurity, comparison, and distraction because he knows that once you realize who you truly are, you become unstoppable. Every person is born with a unique blend of abilities. Some people carry intellectual potential. They think in ways that shift systems and open new possibilities. Others possess emotional potential. They bring healing, compassion, and encouragement that strengthens the hearts of those around them. Some carry creative potential, able to see what does not yet exist and bring it into reality through imagination and innovation. Others carry leadership potential, able to influence, uplift, and guide people toward greater purpose. And there are those whose potential is spiritual, a deep ability to inspire, uplift, pray, or speak life into others. But regardless of what your gifts are, they all flow from the same divine source. Your gifting does not diminish someone else's, and their gifting does not diminish yours. God did not run out of potential when He created you. He did not repeat or recycle anyone's abilities. Every gift has a purpose, and every purpose is woven into a larger kingdom plan. The world needs the specific potential God placed in you. Someone needs what you carry. Someone's breakthrough, healing, or transformation may be connected to your obedience in unlocking your potential. When you hold back who you are, the world misses the expression of God that was meant to shine through you. Potential is not measured by who you are today, but by who you are capable of becoming. It is not defined by what you have achieved, but by what remains inside you yet to be explored. Too many people confuse talent with potential. Talent is visible, but potential is invisible. Talent is what you have done, but potential is what you have not yet done. Potential is the greatness within you that has not been activated. It is the unexpressed, unreleased, and sometimes unrecognized power that God placed in you to fulfill His vision for your life. The saddest tragedy in life is not death, it is living without ever discovering what you are capable of becoming. Many people leave this world with their dreams still inside them, their gifts undeveloped, and their potential untouched. They die full of unspoken words, unwritten books, unpursued ideas, and unlived visions because they allowed fear, doubt, or comfort to dictate their lives. But that is not God's intention for you. He designed you to multiply what He placed inside you. He created you to grow, to rise, to stretch, and to manifest the potential that brings glory to Him. Your purpose is already inside you, but potential requires partnership with God. You must align your mind with His truth, align your heart with His promises, and align your steps with His direction. When you move with God, you activate the power within you. When you trust Him, you unlock levels of potential you never knew you had. When you walk in obedience, you walk in strength you did not realize was available. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies those He calls by empowering their potential. The moment you begin to see yourself the way God sees you, everything changes. You stop seeking validation from people because you already have affirmation from heaven. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable because you understand that your potential brings light where there is darkness. You stop holding back because you realize that God planted too much in you for you to live small. Your life is not meant to be average. You were not created to blend in or live in the shadows of your fears. You were created to bring glory to God by becoming everything He designed you to be. And when you unlock your potential, your life becomes a tribute to the one who created you, a living expression of God's creativity, intention, and love. You are the only you God ever made, and He placed within you everything necessary to fulfill your destiny. Your potential is waiting. Your greatness is waiting. Your purpose is calling. And the moment you embrace the truth that your potential is a divine deposit placed within you by God, you begin walking into the life you were created to live boldly, intentionally, and powerfully. Potential is released through discipline, vision, and faithful stewardship, because while God places greatness within you, He will not force it to grow without your participation. Every person is born with God-given ability, but the difference between potential that transforms the world and potential that dies unused is responsibility. God provides the seed, but you decide whether to cultivate it. He provides opportunity, but you choose whether to step into it. He provides calling, but you determine whether to commit to it. Unlocking potential is not accidental, it is intentional. It requires a decision to rise above excuses, distractions, and comfort so you can develop what God has entrusted to you. Discipline is one of the most powerful forces in releasing potential because it trains your gifts, shapes your character, and strengthens your resolve. Talent may open doors, but discipline keeps those doors open. Many people have incredible ability, but never achieve meaningful impact because they lack the discipline to stay committed, consistent, and focused. Potential without discipline becomes wasted potential. The greatest visions in the world crumble without the structure of discipline to support them. Discipline teaches you to say no to distractions, no to laziness, and no to anything that pulls you away from your purpose. It is the engine that drives progress, the bridge between desire and achievement. God can give you the vision, but discipline allows you to walk toward it daily, even when motivation fades. Discipline is not just about what you do, it is about who you become. It refines your inner life, your habits, thinking, attitude, and priorities, so that your outer life can reflect excellence and purpose. When you discipline your mind, you control your thoughts instead of letting fear or negativity control you. When you discipline your time, you invest in meaningful actions rather than wasting precious hours on comfort or distraction. When you discipline your emotions, you act with maturity, self-control, and wisdom rather than than reacting impulsively. And when you discipline your spiritual life, you strengthen your connection with God, allowing His guidance to shape your decisions. Discipline is a form of obedience. It is choosing long-term purpose over short-term pleasure. It is the willingness to do what is difficult now so you can experience what is great later. But discipline alone is not enough. You need vision, a clear picture of what God created you to become and where He wants you to go. Vision is the map that directs your potential. It gives purpose to discipline and clarity to your efforts. Without vision, you wander. With vision, you walk with intention. Vision shows you the future God sees for you, the assignment He has placed on your life, and the impact He designed you to make. It is not simply imagination, it is revelation. It aligns your daily choices with your divine purpose. People without vision waste their potential because they do not know where to direct it. They settle for survival instead of striving for significance. Vision gives you a reason to stretch, to grow, and to endure challenges. It gives your potential direction, focus, and energy. When you have a clear vision, you stop living by chance and begin living by purpose. You refuse to live beneath your calling because you see something greater ahead. You refuse to quit because you know what you are working toward. Vision is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it begins as a whisper in your spirit, a passion that won't let you go, an idea that keeps returning, or a sense of calling that grows stronger with time. Vision often begins as a seed, but as you nurture it through prayer, study, and reflection, it becomes clearer, stronger, and more powerful. Once vision takes root in your heart, it becomes almost impossible to ignore. It becomes the fuel that pushes you forward when obstacles arise, and the light that guides you when the path grows dark. Yet vision requires more than imagination. It requires faithful stewardship. Stewardship means managing, protecting, developing, and multiplying what God has placed in your hands. Everything you have, your time, talents, opportunities, relationships, resources, and even your ideas, is a gift assigned to you by God to cultivate. Faithful stewardship means refusing to bury your potential out of fear or complacency. It means refusing to treat your gifts casually. It means recognizing that what God gives you is valuable and must be handled with care, wisdom, and intention. Stewardship asks you to take responsibility for your growth. It is not enough to pray for God to use you. You must prepare yourself for the assignment. God cannot promote what you are unwilling to develop. He cannot elevate you to a place you are unprepared to handle. Faithful stewardship means investing in your abilities, sharpening your skills, educating your mind, and strengthening your spiritual life. It means being diligent with small opportunities so God can trust you with bigger ones. Everything begins with stewardship of the little, because those who are faithful with little will be given more. Releasing potential often requires sacrifice of comfort, distractions, old habits, and sometimes relationships that hold you back. The path to purpose is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Sacrifice is a sign of commitment. It proves to God and to yourself that you are serious about fulfilling your purpose. When you sacrifice, you make room for growth. You create space for God to stretch you, shape you, and position you for greater impact. Obedience also plays a crucial role in releasing potential. You can be disciplined, have vision, and steward your gifts well, but if you are not willing to obey God's direction, your potential will remain limited. Obedience unlocks doors that talent alone cannot open. It positions you for divine opportunities that discipline alone cannot access. Obedience is the moment when your faith meets God's purpose. It is the choice to trust God even when you do not understand the full picture. It is the willingness to step into the unknown, believing that God will provide what you need as you move forward. Many people stay stuck because they are waiting for God to reveal every detail before they move. But potential is released not when you know everything, but when you obey God with what you know now. When discipline guides your actions, vision shapes your direction, stewardship multiplies your gifts, and obedience aligns you with God's purpose, your potential begins to manifest in ways you never imagined. What was once hidden becomes visible. What was once dormant becomes activated. What was once unused becomes powerful. You transform from someone with potential to someone with impact. You begin to live not by accident, but by assignment. As you unlock your potential, your life becomes a living tribute to God's glory. You become evidence that when a person commits to growth, aligns with divine purpose, and walks with faith, God can do extraordinary things through them. Your journey becomes a testimony that potential is not just about personal success. It is about fulfilling divine purpose. It is about allowing God to use your gifts to bless others, inspire hearts, and transform lives. Your life becomes a mirror reflecting God's creativity, excellence, and power. People begin to see God's hand in your actions, God's wisdom in your decisions, and God's strength in your perseverance. You become an example of what is possible when someone chooses not to waste what God has given them. You show that potential is not unlocked by chance, but through commitment, obedience, and faith. And the ultimate reward is not simply achieving success. It is becoming the person God envisioned when He created you. It is standing at the end of your journey knowing that you did not bury your gifts, you did not settle for mediocrity, and you did not allow fear to silence your calling. You lived fully, you grew completely, you released everything God placed within you. This is the true meaning of unlocking potential, to become the fullest, truest, most purposeful version of the person God designed you to be. When you discipline your life, embrace God-given vision, and faithfully steward your gifts, your hidden ability becomes visible impact. Your life becomes a legacy of purpose. And through it all, God receives the glory as the giver of the potential that transformed not only your life, but the lives of others.